Hey everyone, my name is Shainu Prakash. This is Team 89's final presentation. In my team, we have Javier, Madhu, Thani, and myself. Our project title is Impact on Gun Industry Stocks After a Mass Shooting. So these are the agenda items that we'll be talking about. At a high level, we'll be discussing the project, data, modeling, and then the conclusion. According to Gun Archive, in 2022 there were 337 mass shootings, and that is just until now. Number of children that died during these events are 186. Number of teens that died is 716. Our project really focused on if these statistics that Gun Archive and other news media send out to the public have an effect on gun industry stocks. It's very important to note that Gun Archive considers 4+ victims injured or killed as mass shooting event. The overview of this project is again, the team is trying to identify the impact on gun manufacturers' return after a mass shooting. Hypothesis is that a general perception is that the gun stocks/return will be impacted after a mass shooting event. Now let's talk about data. For the US mass shooting, we got the data set from Kaggle. The variables we selected for this dataset are the following. So we have location, state, date, year, fatality, injured, and total victims. This further discussed the preparation of data that we had to do for just the US mass shooting. We had to update the date of a shooting event so that it actually follows the following Monday. As you know, the stock market is closed on the weekends, so we will not be able to see an impact on an individual stock if the event were to happen over the weekend. We created a column to identify the state based on the location column. So this was further used for our exploratory data analysis to identify where is the shooting happening. We also updated our data set to include Uvalde shooting. That was one of the major events that happened after we started our project journey here.
We look into the data origin for the stock prices. The first set of stocks data is imported from TidyQuant. We are concentrating on 6 gun stocks and with a data history of 10 years. We have imported Stern Project Company, Smith & Wesson's brand, Olin Corporation, National Presto Industries, Big Five Sporting Goods Corporation, and Axum Enterprises. This includes both gun manufacturers and sellers. TidyCon basically provides data about open price, close price, high price, low price, volume, and the adjusted price for all the stocks on a daily basis. To enhance this stock data, we also imported data from Yahoo Finance. We imported the market capitalization. This market capitalization data is used for creating a portfolio by using market capitalization as the weights. And also we calculated the technical indicators like SMA and also the momentum. So as part of this data transformations and imputations, for imputations we handle the mass data shooting events that occur on weekends, basically readjusting to the stock market open dates, and transformed data like cleaning the mass shooting data to get the location and the date fields, created portfolio returns for portfolio gun industry stocks, calculated short and long SMA, and also the momentum. Then all the data from 3 sources are merged to get the final data set. And the important key variables we arrived from all the data sources is the mass shooting event day, number of fatalities, total injured, total victims, adjusted close price, and the portfolio returns of the gun stocks. So along with these direct key variables, we also have derived variables like simple moving average for short 2 days, simple moving average for long 15 days, and also momentum of the portfolio returns for 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, and 20 days.
Challenges that we have in this project. One of the challenges is that the mass shooting events that could happen on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, or it could happen on a holiday too. So those events have to move to the next trading date. Second, the number of companies, what companies we're going to be analyzing and looking at. So initially we identified 10 companies that are all related to the gun industry. However, only 6 they have enough history Those 6 companies, gun manufacturers, are companies that are involved in the retailing of guns or the sporting goods, and companies that make ammunition. Finally, because of the challenges we start seeing out of the correlation, if a correlation between returns and the mass shootings events, we look only the 2 gun manufacturers that they are publicly traded in the United States. Our project consists basically of 2 data sets. The one that we built for the stock prices, and the other one is the mass shooting data set. We combine them in order to do this evaluation. So the chart on the right is showing that where every vertical line, dashed line, is indicates a shooting event where 7 or more people were the victims. When we're talking about the correlation, and this is one of the challenges that we have, is it's difficult to see the correlation of the return of the companies and their independent variables, which are the fatalities and the injured on each one of those events. And this plot is just using the 2 gun manufacturers. So that's one of the challenges that we are facing in this project. When we're talking about the modeling, when you say modeling, it's first the hypothesis. We start with the hypothesis that is going to be a negative effect on the returns of these companies every time it's a mass shooting. We use the linear regression as a proxy for this to evaluate that impact. We make the portfolio returns in function of injury and the fatalities per shooting, and the portfolio return we're using means like a simple moving average and the momentums and means to assess the change of the return. The data set, the joint data set, was divided in 2. The training data set all the way with points of observations all the way to December 2019, and the test data set with all the observations for the last 2.5 years. Among all the models that we built, we see only 2 or 3 that coefficients they have the statistical significance. So they have the statistical significance. However, all our models, the R squared is really low. It's really low. We explore options like doing transformation, but we didn't see an improvement of those or either in the R squared or in the coefficient significance of the coefficients better. So we decide to stick with the models that we generate initially, which are the linear models.
The model regression plots, let's take a look at the first selected model, that is SMA 15-day versus fatalities plus injured. So here, basically the model is just explaining like if there exists a relationship. So this vertical, it's not like a significant linear relationship, but there could be other factors that's impacting the returns. And similarly, we looked at other technical indicator, that is the momentum 5-day. Here also it's the same thing. When there are no events, it falls here, and when there is a mass shooting event, there's a slight impact on the 5-day momentum. Now moving on to log transformation model. So here also it's almost similar to the momentum 5-day plot that we have seen here. There exists some relationship, but it's not significant. Moving on to diagnostic plots. Here the idea is basically there should not be any trend in the residuals. They should be randomly distributed, constant variance, and the normal QQ plot. All the values of the theoretical versus quantiles versus standardized residuals, they should fall on the diagonal line. It's not ideal, but first model 2, there exists a slight skewness in the distribution. It's better than the other models. And here also they're randomly distributed. So same with the momentum and QQ plot. There are fat tails here for the momentum 5-day plot model. Moving on to log transformation model. Here again fat tails, and it's almost similar to the residuals versus to the model momentum 5-day model. So we thought log transformations may give a better explainability, but they didn't give much explanation. So in the metrics we considered R square, adjusted R square, root mean square error, mean absolute error, and mean absolute percentage error. R square basically explains how well the data fits the model, and adjusted R square penalizes for any extra independent variables used in the model which doesn't have explainability. In terms of R square, adjusted R square, model 2 has better values. RMSE penalizes for any large errors. It's because it's a root mean squared error. Again, the model 2 has a better value here. Lower is better, so this one is better. Mean absolute error. Again, the model 2 is better. It's basically measuring the mean average absolute error irrespective of the direction. It doesn't penalize us any outliers. So here this value is better. Mean absolute percentage error, it basically showing the change in deviation. So in this case, the model 7 is better. It has a 99%. Overall, metrics wise, the model 2 exhibited better performance. So we picked that model as our final model. When an event occurs, there does exist some impact on the stock return, and it's about 21% change. I mean, though it's not significant in terms of daily returns, I mean, it can be useful information for investment managers or hedge funds or high frequency traders. Moving on to conclusion, in the future, maybe we can look at the option chain data or stock volume, Twitter sentiment analysis, private company data, and gun sales data, revenues at the companies, and maybe explore other modeling techniques like random forest regression, ensemble learning techniques to improve the explainability of the models. Key takeaway is there's no long-term significant impact, and also the impact fades away after a week or so. So it's not a significant impact based on the mass shooting events. Sources cited. So these are the sources we used our project. So we took the data set from Kaggle and FBI, looked at the active shooter resources from FBI. So and we referred to some papers on the traders, guns and money.
As a group, we wanted to thank you for your time and wanted to thank Georgia Tech for giving us this opportunity. This was something the group wondered about for a very long time. What really happens to stock market after a gun shooting, especially to those gun manufacturing or gun industry stocks? And to see the result and also to marry some of the things that we learned in the course was definitely enriching to all of us. Again, thank you very much for your time, and we will see you around.